say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Sports analysts Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith recently shared their insights on the highly anticipated showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Smith predicted that Crawford could edge out a victory on the scorecards, but warned that the path would not be simple. He pointed out Gervonta Davis's earlier caution that Crawford might find himself in serious danger if he tries to trade too often with the naturally bigger and stronger Canelo. According to Smith, Crawford's best chance lies in using his defensive skills, quickness, and ring intelligence rather than getting caught up in heavy exchanges. Both analysts agreed that in this fight, strategy, not just raw power, will ultimately determine the winner.
Greatness. And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
On the other hand, Max Kellerman emphasized that Terence Crawford's skill set looks sharper overall, giving him a clear technical advantage. He acknowledged Canelo Alvarez's proven durability, pointing to his strong chin and naturally bigger frame that allows him to absorb punishment and hold his ground in heavy exchanges. However, Kellerman also noted that Canelo's recent performances haven't shown the same dominance or sharpness as in his prime, suggesting a slight decline. This sets the stage for a fascinating clash, Crawford's precision and timing against Canelo's strength and resilience.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford, Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Matt.
Former champion and respected boxing analyst Antonio Tarver has voiced strong support for Terence Crawford, while also recognizing the magnitude of the challenge ahead. Tarver pointed out that Crawford has repeatedly proven himself across multiple weight classes, but emphasized that this matchup is a different kind of test altogether. In his view, it represents not only the toughest fight of Crawford's career, but also a unique challenge that Canelo Alvarez has never truly encountered before.
Hey, I'm Bud County all the way, but this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Former world champion Timothy Bradley Jr., well regarded for his sharp boxing IQ, predicts that the opening round of Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford will unfold cautiously. He expects both fighters to avoid unnecessary risks at the start, instead focusing on reading movement, timing, and available openings. Bradley explained that Crawford is known for his patience in big fights, preferring to study his opponent before setting traps. Similarly, Canelo often spends the early moments testing distance and making adjustments as the bout develops. According to Bradley, this calculated, chess-like approach means fans shouldn't expect fireworks in the first round, but rather a tactical exchange of information.
Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. In the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. It takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. And the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. He usually takes off, just feels the power, cruises, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a real, calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure, man. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? Let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe.
Amir Khan, having shared the ring with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, brings a unique perspective to this matchup. Khan emphasized that Crawford has already secured his place as an all-time great within his natural weight divisions, particularly at welterweight. He cautioned, however, that boxing has weight classes for a reason. Moving up against naturally bigger fighters presents serious dangers. In Khan's view, Crawford had nothing left to prove, as his legacy is already firmly established. Still, he acknowledged the ambition behind Crawford's choice, describing it as a bold attempt to silence critics and achieve something only a handful of fighters in history have managed: breaking the limits of weight divisions. Yet Khan was clear: while Crawford is undoubtedly elite, taking on someone as powerful as Canelo is a high-risk gamble, one that could either immortalize his name or jeopardize his career.
We're nothing but respectful. Yeah. I just feel that, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make him for a purpose. And I highly respect and say pound for pound, the best fighter is Crawford by far, and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and it might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway, so you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy it? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He feels
he believes in his skill. Yeah. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well, that he might do really well in there. So look,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's way.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world.
Promoter Tom Loeffler views the event through the lens of business and spectacle. He explained that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of boxing's biggest stars, each with massive fan bases that span different nations and demographics. In Loeffler's eyes, very few modern matchups compare to this one in terms of sheer magnitude. It is not only a meeting of two elite skill sets, but also a collision of two empires. Canelo as the long-established face of the sport, and Crawford as the rising pound-for-pound king. Loeffler believes the hype is well-deserved, noting how rare it is for fighters of this caliber to agree to face each other, especially when weight differences and legacy stakes are at the heart of the showdown.
Huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that, and you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing named families, you know, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, you know, such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to this sport is just so sincere. He's so real. You know, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft, and his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge support.
Trainer Dave Coldwell pointed out Terence Crawford's unique style, particularly his ability to switch stances effortlessly and use footwork to control distance. Coldwell noted that Crawford's movement is one of his most underrated assets, as it allows him to create angles, frustrate opponents, and dictate the pace of a fight. Against a powerful pressure fighter like Canelo Alvarez, he believes these qualities could be critical. Coldwell explained that if Crawford can stay mobile and avoid being pinned against the ropes, he has the tools to outmaneuver Canelo and steadily build points on the scorecards.
I've always fancied Crawford. I just think it's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch, he's very good as a southpaw. His judgment of distance is fantastic. His punch picking is fantastic. He's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest, and he loads up. And he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been hurt before. When Crawford gets hit, he does get hit. That's why he's exciting, but he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at.
Jeff Mayweather zeroed in on the issue of weight and natural size, calling it one of the most decisive factors in this matchup. He explained that Canelo Alvarez has long established dominance at super middleweight, a division perfectly suited to his frame and power. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, is stepping into unfamiliar territory, moving up to a weight class that isn't naturally his own. This, Mayweather argued, raises real questions about how the extra pounds could impact Crawford's speed, stamina, and overall durability. In contrast, Canelo's comfort at this weight means he won't need to make major adjustments, giving him a built-in advantage from the opening bell.
Back there, I mean, this is a weight class that Canelo is already, owned. He owns his weight class. And so, I mean, and he even went up higher. So, I mean, he's already proven what he can do and what he can take at those other weight classes. So, I mean, I don't know, but if anyone can do it, it probably would be Terence Crawford. I mean, this guy seems like he's amazing. I mean, he's, I'm a big fan of Terence Crawford, but I'm a big fan of Canelo as well. So I mean, it's one of those situations where somebody has to lose. So I don't know who's gonna lose, but I think that it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
A Ring magazine analyst weighed in on Canelo Alvarez's recent performances, observing that while Canelo still trains with intensity and maintains a disciplined approach, one weakness has become more apparent. In his last few outings, he has struggled to consistently cut off the ring, which has allowed certain opponents to move freely and avoid his most dangerous power shots. Against a fighter like Terence Crawford, whose movement, footwork, and angles are key to his style, this flaw could be especially costly. The analysts stressed that for Canelo to succeed, he must rediscover his ability to trap opponents, close escape routes, and force exchanges on his terms.
To critique and criticize Canelo, but one of the things that he's gotten in trouble with in the last couple of fights, not being able to cut off the ring. You go to the William Skull fight and you watched him chase William Skull around and around and around that ring. And yes, William Skull was running from him. That was pretty clear to see. He was on his bike utilizing his jab, but you didn't see Canelo cut him off. You didn't see him move laterally to be able to stop a lot of that running or stop a lot of that circling around the ropes, which is his responsibility if he's going to take the front foot and look to establish himself offensively. And when I watch Canelo here, he's gotten away with this pretty much his entire career, but I watch him cross-step a lot. And you see it right there, where he goes from circling, he rolls under the right hand, and instead of moving laterally, replacing his back foot with his front foot, he L-steps and then crosses over, which instead of just moving laterally and shifting, like I said, shuffling to his right off of the L-step, off of the reset, which would allow him to be ready to go and ready to fight again, it takes him that extra beat to get